Alright guys, heading home from a 16-mile toss. And I hope they did well. I mean, with every toss I worry about the birds. I worry about how they're going to do, the losses. So far this year the losses have been minimal. I believe I started with close to 88 pigeons and I shipped, or I trained 83 today. So 5 birds, not a huge loss, but I am expecting more. In my experience, you get close to 60% of your birds that you bred will make it through training. They're not all good, you know, guys. The fact that the majority are pretty much bad. I hate to say that, but that's just in my experience. You know, I kind of consider it the 5-5 rule. 50% of your birds are bad, and only 5% of your birds are going to be supers. Meaning the birds that score for you. You know, some years might be worse, some years might be better. But the story I want to share with you guys is the last few tosses out, I took them to 6 miles. And I took them there 4 separate occasions. And not one time did they beat me home. And I was getting frustrated. I contacted a good friend of mine, asked for his opinion, and he told me to bump them. He said, bump them a few miles, get them away from that location, and see how they do. And I did. I bumped them 3 more miles. I went to 9 miles southwest from that location, and they beat me home. Surprising, they beat me home. So I bumped them again to 11.7 miles, and they beat me home. So today I went to the 16. Now, I can't say I'm not worried. I'm always worried when I train my birds. Again, the losses this year have been minimal. I think I lost about 5 birds so far in training. And I'm not bragging. I know some guys had heavy losses. A good buddy of mine here in Michigan lost 87 birds in one shot. That's one shot from the 10-mile range. He lost 87. He was able to recover close to 60 birds after about 5 days. 5 days. I mean, he was beyond bummed out. How do you lose your entire group of pigeons in one shot? But it was a bad 10-mile toss. I don't know. Like I said, he did recover the majority of his birds, so he still has a strong race team. So we'll see. I'm heading home now. I'm hoping they're home. I do see a couple birds in the air, but that's not promising. I want to see a group of birds, not just 2. But maybe they've already landed in the tree. So we'll see. It is partly cloudy. The sun is out now. So let's see, guys. Filming and driving, not the best idea. I don't like doing it. I figure if I can get them coming home well. Yeah, see? I got 2 birds home. It's not good. It's not good. Where did you guys go? And where are the rest? Where are the rest? Well, they may have gotten broken up and they're straggling home. We'll see. The fact that they're coming home before me is a promising sign, but in the same token, only 2 birds out of 83 that I basketed this morning. Something went wrong, and now my anxiety's through the roof. But that's how it goes. You know, a lot of guys don't appreciate when I say things like, you know, these aren't my pets, these are my birds. But this is the reason why. Because you get attached to these pigeons, and when you lose them, or when you lose the majority of them, the impact is greater than somebody that says, you know, these are not my pets. These birds have to perform, and that's what I expect from them. It makes the impact of losing birds, you know, not as great. But for the guys who treat them as pets, who get attached, it's hard, guys. It's hard to lose pigeons, and you'll lose that motivation. You start to wonder why you do what you do anyway. You know, all the hard work and everything that you put into these birds, and you just lose them like that. But again, that's been my experience. You know, 50% of the birds you breed are not going to be good birds. I mean, they're going to get lost, and I found that to be fact. So when I say things like, hey, these aren't my pets, these are my birds, this is why. Because I separate myself from that. You know, I'm bad at naming pigeons. I'll see a bird that stands out, and I'll give them a funny name or something, and then boom, there I am. Every single night I look for that one bird. You know, because I get attached. I'm human just like everyone else. But it's easier to not get attached, guys. So, no luck. We got 2 birds out of 83. Out of 16, it was 15.7 or something like that. So now, of course, my anxiety is through the roof. We'll see if they get home. I'm not gonna just stare at the sky with you guys here. We'll see how they come. All right, guys, the stress is over. The birds came in and they landed on that tree branch up there, which, you know, as you guys know, is my nightmare. But nonetheless, I couldn't grab my camera fast enough. They came in hot. They came in, did about 1 or 2 circles, and they came straight down. Now, I do have a couple coming in singles. I did have, surprisingly, on the first 2 birds that came in. Let me give you guys a backstory. I had a little red grizzle that I bred this year off of my race winner from 2017, the co-winner, the red grizzle, and I bred one just like him. The bird, as mentioned in the previous videos, went light on me. I don't know if he caught a simple cold or he got something, and you know me, I don't medicate. If anything, I'll go ahead and remove those birds before they become an issue. But this one was recovering just fine, so I said I'm gonna leave him. And unfortunately, he missed out on the few short tosses that I did. Come on, come on, come on. They know they're hungry and they see me. So he missed out on the few short tosses that I did. This is what you want to see, nonetheless. You want to see him come home and come straight down. They know food's ready for him. I should be calling them right now, but instead I'm making videos. So this is how much I appreciate you guys watching. All right, let me not get lost and back on track here. So the bird missed out on the majority of the small tosses. Well, the bird recovered just fine. It handled right, felt right, no heavy keel bone. It felt like it had good muscle, so I took him. I took him to the 9 mile after the multiple 6s. And wouldn't you know it, honestly, let me be honest with you guys here. I took him by mistake. I basketed him in the dark, and when I let him out towards an open field, but behind that open field was a large commercial building. And I noticed one bird straggling behind and landed on that building. And that's when it hit me. I said, oh my God, that's a little red grizzle. I shouldn't have taken him. I should have taken him short. And here he is sitting on that branch. So I waved goodbye to him. I figured he'll never be back. And wouldn't you know, by the time I got home that night, he's in the aviary staring at me hungry because he missed out on the morning feed. So I said, well, okay, he did well. Let me take him again. So yesterday, I took him to a 12. And just like the day before, all the birds came home but him. I said, well, we tried. Obviously, he's no good, or maybe he never really recovered from the sickness, or whatever reason why that he went light. But, like I said, when I got home, there he was in the aviary, waiting to be fed. And wouldn't you know it, today at the 16 mile, he was one of the first 2 birds on the drop. I'm not saying he's going to be a winner. I'm not saying he's going to be a good bird. I may lose him on the next toss. But isn't that weird? A bird that had minimal training, almost no training at all. I went straight to 9, 12, and now 16, and he is one of my first birds down, beating the entire 83 bird team that I sent today. Just an oddball, guys. Don't underestimate the birds, especially the pretty ones. Give them a chance. The only way you know a good bird is to race it. The only way you know a good breeder is to breed it. That's just how it goes. No amount of pedigree, no amount of word of mouth, or what it came from, or all these fancy names that you see on these pedigrees. None of that's going to matter. That training basket's going to be the deciding factor. Or breeding it. Breed it and see what you get out of it. There's no guarantees. I just thought that was odd. I called him down right away, and as soon as I noticed that little red grizzle, I just started laughing to myself. I said, I can't even believe that you're here before everyone else, and then the last 2 trips you were hours late. But that's what I mean. These birds, after a while, they just start to understand what they need to do. It's weird. They just know what they need to do. They know when they come out of that basket, and you'll be surprised. See, I got another one just came home. Looks like one of my reds. Oh no, I know that bird. But he's home nonetheless. So I'm happy. We may have lost 1 or 2, I'm sure of it, if they're coming in singles, but that's okay. That's okay. Like I said, it's easier for me to lose the dummies now than to have to eliminate them at the end of the year because they're dummies. So I'm still okay. I mean, the birds didn't do super, but they made it home within reasonable time, probably 10 minutes after me coming home. Here's 2 more. So something broke them up, something they didn't like. And honestly, on this toss, the reason I was most worried was they had to cross over 2 freeways and a large body of water. Wow, my finger was in the way the whole time. I apologize about that. But they had to cross over a large body of water, and I don't know, you know, I can't say what the birds are gonna feel when they go over those, you know, open masses like a freeway or a large body of water. So I worry on days like that, on tosses like that. But at the same token, you can't avoid them. I mean, from a 300 miles, can you imagine how many bodies of water they're gonna go over, or how many freeways they're gonna go over? So you can't baby them. You have to push them. Does mean I'm not worried. Nonetheless, guys, they're home. We did well. I think I will take them maybe to the same distance, a different location. I don't really like that location, but I was running out of time. I wanted them to come home, you know, within reasonable time. So we'll take them there tomorrow again. Not there, but kind of the same distance, and see how they do. I don't know about this bird that's sitting on the chicken coop here. It doesn't look like one of mine. Looks a little rough, and I know all my birds are fairly molted through. So nonetheless, guys, we'll take you on the next one. Hope this is not too drawn out, or just staring at the sky and some birds. I just wanted to share that with you. That experience with the 6 mile, and then of course now with the little red grizzle that seemed to be right on point where he needs to be, with almost no training whatsoever. All right, guys, see you in the next. So I don't mean to make this too drawn out, but I know what happened. That bird that was on top of the chicken coop, that wasn't mine. I'm looking up in the tree now. There's 3 more birds, including a grizzle that I know for a fact isn't mine. So I believe what happened is the birds got mixed up. There might have been another group of birds training out today, which isn't uncommon. Unfortunately, it's one of the situations you have to run through when you're training your pigeons. And I think they just got mixed up with those birds, maybe followed in the wrong direction for a little bit, and that's what caused them to come home late. Again, I don't try to catch anybody's pigeons. If they come in, I try to contact the owners as soon as possible. But I just give the bird time. I give the bird time to figure it out on his own. If he wants to come down, he comes down. If he wants to take off, he takes off. But that's what happened, guys. Unfortunately, it's just one of those unforeseen. I obviously, before I let the birds go, I stare into the sky to see if the birds, you know, if there's another big group going by or something of that nature, but you can't tell. I mean, once you let the birds out, that's it. You can't tell if they're gonna, you know, follow along or what the deal is. Yeah, here he is on the wire right there, that grizzle. I know for a fact isn't mine. So we'll see if we can get him down, contact the owner, and go from there. But he's looking like he wants to come down. I'll give him a minute, see if he follows the rest of the birds. I think both of these birds on the wire aren't mine, just the way they're acting. That's one, and there's the grizzle. Yeah, see how skittish they are? That's how you know they're not yours. My birds knew right away to come down and go straight in. These birds are not mine. They're scared, they don't know, they've never been here. They know that there's pigeons here, but that's as far as their mind goes. We'll see.